Is that right?
You heard me correct. We're live on the internet.
If you say so.
I do say so.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to episode 961 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me as always from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward.
Yellow.
How's it going there, sir?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
I was on a little trip to New Brunswick this weekend. Just got back. Boy, my arm's tired.
Just
Going bowling?
Bowling?
Brunswick.
Brunswick.
No, it's
brand.
New Brunswick.
Oh.
Going new
They
bowling?
made a new one?
It's going to be a
New
long
bowling
night.
is the more exciting bowling.
This is how we're starting. It's going to be a long night.
What are the rules of new bowling, Phil?
Well, first of all, instead of 10 pins, you got a baker's dozen.
Mm.
Second of all, two people bowl at once.
Yeah.
Two balls right down the lane.
Gotta have two balls.
Yep. And whoever knocks down the most
Yeah.
in 5 frames.
Oh, only
Wins.
5.
Yeah.
Huh.
The trick is, though, there are 5 frames per turn.
Mhm.
You get that first
Per
roll.
turn.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have to do 50 total?
Yep.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep.
Okay.
And the person who wins on that first throw,
Yeah.
they have to start using their non-dominant throwing arm.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
But once per round,
Mm-hmm.
you are allowed to initiate the new bowling beatdown, where you have the opportunity to throw your ball with your non-dominant hand at your opponent while they are trying to roll it down the lane.
Excellent.
Yep.
Okay. I'm excited for this.
And the lanes are greased
should
down
do
with
that.
Vaseline brand petroleum jelly because this is a sponsored sport.
Well, naturally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Has to be.
Yep.
All right. Well, joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
I just like to say I made all that up. That was all.
What?
That was a
Oh, man. I
patented Phil prank 'em up.
was getting ready to play some New Brunswick.
Well, this is once this podcast fails, and fail it will.
I'm shocked it hasn't yet.
We're only
we seem to be trying
960
so hard.
This is
episodes in.
this is our next scam. This is our next get rich quick scheme
I like it.
because this one has not been working in terms of
Clearly not.
getting rich quick.
Clearly not.
We're knocking on 20 years,
Yes.
and it's
We
yet to
are
happen.
knocking on 20 years. Isn't that messed up?
When did it start?
2006.
Oh yeah, no, oh no.
20 years is closer
Like I
than you
said-
thought.
Like
Oh
I
my
said
God.
before, when we started, none of us had kids. In
Yeah.
6 months, my oldest goes to university.
Yeah.
Which is like Canadian college.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
Well, anyway,
Yeah.
Greg has stepped away.
Well,
So
probably.
now we can talk about Yakuza. Let's talk about some Yakuza.
Oh,
He's
what
gone.
about Yakuza?
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Well, I did pre-order Yakuza 0 Director's Cut.
director's
for
cut.
Switch 2.
Yeah.
Digital pre-orders have gone up for some of the Switch 2 games.
Have they?
I pre-ordered 0 Director's Cut. I'm ready. I'll be ready on day 1 to play.
Now I think.
It warned me, it cautioned me when I did
Oh.
this.
Yeah,
You don't have the hardware for
That's-
this game.
that is true.
And yeah, that is
Did
true.
you order this? Where did you order this?
Nintendo.com.
Oh, okay. Through their
Pre-order the digital
eShop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pre-order on the eShop.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a pre-order. So the way Nintendo does pre-orders is you kind of put like your credit card info in, and then they don't actually charge you until 7 days out.
Okay. And what's that credit card number again?
69.
Nice.
All right. What's the
Clearly
expiration date?
returned at the right time.
Also 69.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you turn the card around onto the back,
Yeah.
there should
It's
be
a-
a 3-digit number.
No, it's 4 digits on this one. It's
Oh.
Amex. It's 6969.
Oh, okay.
But I have a different card that actually has the same number, and the 3-digit code is 420.
Okay, so either of those will work.
Either of them will work.
Great.
Yeah.
And that's Christopher?
Mhm.
Christopher Johnston on the front of the card there?
That's right. That's
Christopher Aloysius Johnston III.
right.
Actually, it's R. Johnston, right?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's R. It's Christopher Robin.
That's not right at all.
Named after the young lad who hangs out
No,
in the 100-acre wood.
with Winnie the Pooh.
Well, I wasn't
And-
going to say that.
Tigger too. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So we
Right.
got our Yakuza talk in while Greg was gone. That's good.
Good.
That happened.
Now, here's the
Got
thing,
that.
though,
Yeah. What's the thing?
Christopher Robin.
Yeah. Huh? You called my name?
I believe you may have kind of jumped ahead in the narrative here,
I did. jump
because in
ahead.
telling us that
Mhm.
you pre-ordered Yakuza 0 Director's Cut,
Yeah.
I am using my powers of deduction. I am using context clues
Yeah.
to determine
Yes.
that perhaps you were successful in pre-ordering a Nintendo Switch 2, which went up for
Hmm.
pre-order in the United States and Canada earlier this week.
Phil, I'll spoil it for you.
Well, you already did. That was the whole point of everything I just said.
Phil, I'm going to spoil it for you again.
What do you got for me?
I did, in fact, successfully pre-order a Switch 2. But man, what a crap show.
It was a ride.
It was a roller coaster ride on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Pacific time, midnight Eastern.
Right.
And
Oh,
that
1
is when,
a.m. where I am.
yeah, that is when pre-orders went live in
That sounds like an
For-
East Coast problem.
a bunch of North American retailers
Yes.
for the Switch 2.
But not, of
and-
course, Amazon.
But not Amazon, because apparently Nintendo and Amazon are feuding. So
They still.
still, I got my original Switch from Amazon though.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
OG.
What happened between those two?
I was gonna say, why are they feuding? I feel like we talked about this like ages
I
ago.
think it
but
was
don't
something
remember.
about hardware returns, some kind of
Okay.
thing like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, let's talk about what we did for pre-ordering Switch 2. I'll go through mine. I successfully did it. At 9 o'clock, I started checking websites to see if I could pre-order but pick up in store. Now, here's my dilemma.
Oh, yeah. You got your
Here's my
weird.
dilemma.
Dilemma.
I had already scheduled a trip for this time.
Right.
And of course, a new
Your
game system has to
Madagascar
come out.
safari.
That's right. No.
Right.
And so I needed to find someplace that'll let me pre-order but pick up at a physical location.
Right.
So I checked Target
Mm-hmm.
to see if they would allow that, and they do not.
Okay.
So I had checked in the days leading up to the pre-order. Best Buy does do this, does allow you to pre-order and then pick up in store. So my hopes, all of my hopes and dreams were pinned on Best Buy.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Sounds like a losing.
in the
That's-
days before the pre-order, I
Mhm.
was like, okay, what are some ways that this could go wrong? Like if my only
there's a
hope
lot.
is Best Buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot that could go wrong. There
Yeah.
could be no pickup in store
Right.
for Best Buy, and then I would just be out of luck. I'd have to wait until I returned from my trip to get a Switch 2. And I don't want to do that. If I'm
Right.
I want to have the Switch 2 on the plane and whatnot. So in the days before that, I went on Best Buy site, updated all my like credit card info, shipping address, billing address, like all of those, made sure they were all immaculate.
Right.
And Then I also decided, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to join Best Buy's little My Best Buy Plus membership thing.
I
It's
gotcha.
a $50 membership, but I was like,
Ooh.
you know what? With the Switch 2 pre-order thing, they might just go ahead and do you have to be a member in order to buy these bundles or to buy the system for in-store pickup or something like that. And they're offering like $20 back in-store credit for any Switch 2 purchases you make over like each $150 worth of Switch 2 stuff you buy. So if I bought a Switch 2, it would basically pay for itself, the membership by itself.
And does the system count towards that total, or are they saying like games
I
and
believe so. I
accessories?
believe
Okay.
the Switch counts. And even if
Okay.
it doesn't, I was already going to be buying like a Pro controller probably and other things. So so I just was like, well, I'll spend the $50 and potentially not have to miss out on whatever ridiculous bundle stuff they're doing, whatever.
Right.
And then on Wednesday, so I tried Target first and immediately ran into I'm sorry, the thing that you've added to the cart, your cart is no longer available. So we've gone ahead and removed it from your cart. And
That was very nice of them.
yeah, I ran into that whole thing. And then that, in addition to not seeing a way to pick up in store, I just decided to skip out on Target.
Okay.
I didn't do any of the Walmart stuff. I heard a lot of people did. I instead waited for Best Buy, and Best Buy did not go live until a half hour after 9 p.m. Like 9:30 is when it finally went up. And they had said that pre-orders were going to begin at 9, and then that didn't happen.
Right.
So Best Buy, I had previously gotten a Switch OLED from Best Buy. Like I liked their system, their whole line system that they have going. Target has nothing. It's like free for all.
Right.
Shit show there. So Best Buy, I waited for the button to be clickable. It finally was. I had changed my pickup store or my like preferred location to a location where I'll be, and then entered the line, got in the line.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I did is I turned off all like ad blockers or script blockers on my web browser.
Good call.
Because I was like, any of those could mess up this whole thing. If any of those are active, I turned everything off for bestbuy.com so that it wouldn't hit that. And about 15 minutes in, I got in.
Oh.
And was able to complete my purchase of the Nintendo Switch 2 with Mario Kart World. Got the Mario Kart World bundle. And I checked out and everything was successful. I got the email saying, hey, your pre-order is secured. So happy days to me. And then I decided, you know what? I want to see if I can get a Pro controller. And I'm going to be traveling. I may as well also get a carrying case.
Jesus Christ.
Just because I'm probably going to ditch the box and the packaging.
I was going to ask you about that because
then something to be able to transport the Switch instead of just plopping it in my bag.
Right.
So you had to get in line for the Pro controller. So I did that.
Okay.
And about 5 minutes later, I got through and bought the Pro controller. And then I was, well, I didn't buy it yet. I added it to my cart and then went to get the carrying case. There was also a line for that. So I got in line for that. And another 5 minutes, I was through. So done.
My goodness.
And I am not sure, like my experience with Best Buy's line system is the exception.
Really?
Because a lot of people stayed in that line for like 45 minutes to an hour
just
for the system and had problems with it like dying or kicking them out of the line, etc. So I don't know for sure if the My Best Buy Plus membership did any like wink, nod.
Probably did.
Greasing the wheels a little.
Push me through, grease the wheels. But it may have, because I went through the line 3 times in 40 minutes.
My goodness.
And had no problem. I was extremely happy with that. But My experience was definitely the exception, and people on our Discord were saying that this is my heel turn. my evil turn. My turn to evil was
It's the beard.
I know it
Yeah.
is the beard being able to check out.
I mean, he's a Trek guy now, so
It's true.
this is very much Terran Empire, Mirror Universe CJ.
Mirror Universe CJ, yeah.
No.
But that was my experience. So I got
Okay.
through and it was fine. And I avoided the Target shit show. And I think when the original Switch, when there were pre-orders for that, I tried my damnedest to pre-order from Target and ran into the exact same problem that a lot of people were running into on Wednesday night with it just like you can put it in your cart and then when you go to check out, they just, oh, I'm sorry, that's not available anymore. So we've gone ahead and removed it from your cart. So in 8 years' time, they've made zero improvements
absolutely.
to the way that they do anything. And I can
Why
kind of
why would they
understand it.
want to improve it? They sell everything out all the time.
I mean, yeah, why would they want to improve it? They sell out anyway, and this happens so rarely that they probably don't even have to like increase the bandwidth of their system to accommodate anything. So it's probably the Switch and Taylor Swift exclusive LPs that they have to worry about, right? So that was my experience. And I did not have to pre-order a Taylor Swift LP either.
Say what? I don't understand the.
Taylor
I
Swift
don't
is a very popular singer.
I don't understand what
Popular
that
singer.
has to do with anything.
And their Target often offers special edition Taylor Swift versions of albums and
Which also causes their site to crash.
also causes their site
Oh,
to crash.
Okay.
That was the
She is
implication.
also very popular.
Just like the Switch.
Right.
Too.
Okay.
All right. So I'm taken care of. I was done. What about you guys? What's your Switch 2 story? Greg?
I was asleep.
Good man.
I'm not.
Look at that.
I mean, that was a non-starter. If things weren't going to go live until 1 o'clock, with working on the assumption that it was going to be at least an hour to hopefully get through, and not, especially notwithstanding like technical failures, you're getting booted out of line, and no, I there's no way I was starting that process at 1 a.m. on a Wednesday, a Thursday. So
yeah.
I am, as of now, if more go online and are available, I will do my best. Otherwise, I'm waiting for Nintendo to say, hey, you can buy it from us now, or I'm waiting to walk into a store and find one. So
there you go.
Yep.
All right then. Philip.
Yes, sir.
What did you end up doing?
Well, I certainly decided to try and get one.
Yeah.
I had 3 browser windows open. One for Target, Best Buy, and Walmart.
Yeah.
Loaded up the product pages. As Wario posted them up on the blue skies, so I was all set to go. As soon as they went live, well, like you said, what was it? Target and Walmart, or no, Walmart was the straggler.
Best Buy was the straggler.
Was Best Buy the straggler? Okay.
Half hour
that's right.
after 9.
That's right. Yeah, I couldn't get through to Walmart. Target, I was able to get in there, but the site just started disintegrating around me.
Yeah.
Suddenly telling me it didn't have my address saved, so I was having to constantly manually re-enter my address. I'd get through to payment, and then it would hang on me. Then it would kick me back out, but leave the things in my cart to try again, and then I'd try again, and then it would kick me out and have me then it would remove it from my cart, and then I would go to add it again, and it would still be up for pre-order, but it wouldn't allow me to add it to my cart. That process went on for quite some time. Meanwhile, I'm in line at Walmart waiting. Best Buy eventually starts going up at 9:30?
9:30, yeah.
Specific. So I got in line there. After about an 45 minutes to an hour in line at Walmart. They finally kicked me out of the line. Best Buy kicked me out after about half an hour. Target just
You're making me feel really good about the decision.
the
I made.
website stopped working. But
Yeah.
then Wario posted another link to Walmart with here's a link that doesn't have the queue. So I clicked on that and was able to boom, 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 get through. No problem.
Nice.
So, got any smart quips about that, Greg?
No,
I got it.
My smart quip is I'm happy I went to sleep.
There you go.
And let's be clear, if this was in the Eastern time zone and it was midnight,
Yeah.
I probably would have taken a nap beforehand, but still gotten up at midnight to do it.
If this was Eastern time zone and it happened at 1 a.m., I assure you I would have stayed up till 2
I probably would have too.
without even
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because here's the difference between me and Greg
Hmm.
is I'm nuts and I'm stupid
Me
and I
too.
revel in it.
Me too.
And I'll tell you what, it gets me Switch 2s.
You know, as much problem as there is, like actually sitting at home in front of a computer and doing it beats standing in line.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding?
Overnight,
No.
doing it.
Yeah, I wouldn't
so
do that anymore either.
I
No.
wouldn't do that.
No, if
You're-
I am too old for
I
that.
do not
shit.
disagree.
If the only way to pre-order a system was to go to a physical store and stand in line for multiple hours,
Yeah, which a lot
I'll
of people
wait.
did. A lot of people did do that because
Yeah.
the next morning, GameStop physical locations offered in-store pre-orders, and the thing about that was different, I think, than last time is they actually posted the number of units they were going to have on the door the night before,
Yeah.
Nice.
which kind of an interesting little improvement over the last time this happened. And it seemed like they had a lot of systems like
Yeah.
uh
Well, I'll say, I mean, this is an isolated incident, certainly.
yeah.
I was chatting with a friend of mine who she still lives in, she's in California, and her and her husband were trying to get one of these systems.
Yeah.
And the day before, she contacted her local Bay Area GameStop just to kind of get the situation.
Sure.
And they told her, and this seems like bad messaging, but they told her that, well, our employees have first dibs on
What?
pre-orders,
What?
Wow,
Which-
that's new.
which doesn't seem like the best thing to,
Second question would be, can I have the number for your district manager?
right? And then she was told that they were getting once all the employees had been taken care of, make no mistake, but available for regular people off the street to come and pre-order. I believe they
Peasants.
had 10 of the bare bone systems and 20 of the Mario Kart bundles.
That's interesting. Yeah, I heard of some places having 50 of the Mario Kart bundle and
Oh.
25 of the
Okay.
vanilla
And-
system.
and-
So
And she does not live in like a rural area in the Bay Area.
Right,
She's
right.
in like a pretty heavily populated
oh, that's kind of surprising.
town there, but
Hmm.
it
I
seems like
see.
30 systems, once you take care of the employees,
Wow,
isn't necessarily
a ton.
enough to cover.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah.
remember going and buying a Wii
Yeah.
and waiting overnight in line. Well, I didn't wait overnight. I went really early in the morning,
Yeah.
and they had 3.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's not unprecedented.
kind of an
Right.
improvement over that though.
Ugh.
All
But
right.
yeah.
So it happened. We did it.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
2 of us did it.
2 of us did it.
Yes.
One of
I haven't
us
gotten any sort of
waiting.
cancellation notice.
That's good. Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But
and we'll see what happens with Nintendo's
That's
pre-order
true.
invites when those go out on May 8th or around that time anyways when they're going to start.
okay.
So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully everybody's able to get a system. It did seem like on our Discord most people were able to get a system.
Oh,
who
good.
wanted one.
Good.
So, and Nintendo Life did a poll on US pre-orders or North American pre-orders, and it seemed like over 60% were able to actually score a system
It's not bad.
within the first day or two of
Okay.
them going live. So that's good. Considering
Yeah.
How does that compare to other, like the most recent system launches, like the
Yeah, I don't
PlayStation
know.
5?
I don't
Curious what those numbers would be.
Yeah. Alrighty, well, let's talk about news then, now that we're done with this. So it came out that every physical third-party Switch 2 game in Japan releasing for launch day is a game key card requiring a download. I guess the only one that's not is Cyberpunk
Hmm.
2077. So I don't know if this news is supposed to be bad.
Do you not
I
think
assume
it's
that's
bad?
the intention, is that this is bad because the game isn't on the physical
Wait.
cart.
Are we getting full CJ Nintendo apologist mode tonight?
No,
Okay.
but I will say that for any of these games, even if they were on a non-game key cart, they would probably need a patch or like unfinished. Launch games, generally speaking, for newer consoles anyway, everything's coming in so hot. Like the
Launch
dev
games.
tools,
Every
yeah.
game.
every game is coming in hot, but
I bought-
especially launch games come in so
I bought
hot.
a physical copy of Lunar Remastered because I
Yeah.
figured, you know what? I don't normally buy physical, but it's Lunar, so let's do it.
Yeah.
It still needed, I think it had
Day
2
one patch?
patches.
Yeah.
It's anyway.
What?
No, I agree
ahead and
with
say
you.
it.
I do agree with you. That's
The
the
game
whole
wouldn't
reason
be on
why
these cartridges. They wouldn't
well,
be able to
a
play
version of it would.
a
but
version of it would, but maybe not bug free or issues.
that's the whole reason I don't buy physical anymore anyway, because I don't see the point because of exactly what you said.
Yeah.
99 times out of 100, you're going to need to go online and download something to play the game in its current final form.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Not having anything at all but a download code feels a little like a slap
Not
in
a
the face.
download
but
code. The game key cards do download the game, but it's not a code in a box, which apparently Split Fiction is a code in a box
Hmm.
in the US. So.
Wasn't that an SNL song?
Code in a box? No. I believe the 4-letter word that you were thinking of is love. Love in a box. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, let's see. What are we talking about next? Ghost of Yote picked a great week to announce anything, considering that Oblivion took up a lot of the air in the room in terms of announcements and stuff. But Ghost of Yote's release date has been announced. It comes out on October 2nd, 2025. There's a new trailer, and I cannot wait. I was a big fan of Ghost of Tsushima, and I am ready to go back to that world.
I still have not played Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I have not either.
Good.
I know,
It's so
and
good.
it looks so good, and Ghost of Yote looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very.
I know. I gotta play them.
Very excited about it, and it is confirmed that it's $70 on PS5. The standard edition.
Oh, it's cheap.
I'm
It's
sure
a budget game.
They'll have editions that will be more than 70, but
yeah. Well, if you go to the link you put on the outline, there's images of the edition that will be far more than 70.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a 71-inch sash.
71-inch sash.
Yes.
I'm so glad I don't buy physical
And the
collectibles
replica of
anymore.
Atsu's katana
Mm.
and a mask.
I only
Art
want a
cards.
katana replica if it's also a controller,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a definite.
which was an Onimusha
Was a
collector thing back in the day.
did they do a sword?
Yeah.
Controller?
Hmm.
I don't remember that. I
Did they
remember
really?
the chainsaw, the Resident Evil chainsaw.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That
And
was
Oh,
for
yeah, Onimusha 3.
GameCube, right?
was it Onimusha 3?
Onimusha 3, had a katana controller.
Hmm. I see. Well, now on to more important media news. Michael Bay and Sydney Sweeney team on movie adaptation of Outrun video game at Universal, says Deadline. Yeah.
Well,
A fantastic image here of the Outrun starting line with Sydney Sweeney and Michael Bay. Yeah. So I guess we're getting an Outrun movie. How jazzed about this are you, Greg?
I mean, I'll definitely watch it. I
Yeah.
can't imagine it'll be good, but
Could
who
be.
knows?
You never know.
oh, it
Video
won't.
game-
If there's one thing I know about Michael Bay films,
Oh, well, that's true. Okay.
is that you should
You're
always
right.
err on the side of this is going to be really good.
Right.
I mean, what do you think?
very
Will it be
timely.
will it be like Cannonball Run? Is that what we're gonna get? Like it will be
I
like.
hope so.
I mean, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know how you make a movie out of what Outrun is.
Will it be some
But-
kind of mistaken identity thing where then you have to do a road race across America because you were mistaken by some criminal organization? Now you're on the run. You're on the outrun.
So you have to outrun
You have to
the
outrun
bad guys.
everything.
That's
Bad
that's
guys.
probably better if you just
Maybe there's a bomb in
The
the car, and if you
cops.
drop below 55 miles per hour, it explodes.
They already did a movie like that.
What?
It was Jurassic
Oh,
Park 3.
Speed
okay.
2. Yeah. Okay. So outrun movie. Yeah.
The
Yay.
best. First of all, I have incredible doubts that this will ever actually be made.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
that's like the
I
bigger.
can't
question.
imagine this will ever actually come to fruition.
But video game movies are hot now. We can
But-
thank
That's
Sonic
true,
the
they are.
Hedgehog for that. We can thank Sega and Sonic the
Minecraft
Hedgehog.
didn't Minecraft do okay?
And
Minecraft
yeah.
did fantastic.
Yeah.
The best thing about the potential of an Outrun movie is it might convince Sega to pony up
Hmm.
the cash to re-release Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast.
Right.
Yeah.
That
That
is
would
the-
be cool.
That is the best
That is
because
a-
obviously the movie will not be good if it ever actually gets made,
Yeah.
but there is the potential that we will get like
Time
Outrun
to-
2 or
Time to pony up for that Ferrari license for another year and
yeah,
pump that thing out onto new consoles.
let's do
There
it.
you go.
For those of us
Definitely.
for those out there who didn't buy it when it was on, was it 360 that came out on?
Yeah, yes.
I think
think.
so. I don't think it was Coast to Coast.
Right.
It was just Outrun 2,
I
which
think so, yeah.
just Outrun 2, still an incredible game.
No.
Like,
That was a really good game.
oh
Oh
man,
yeah.
so good.
I don't see it on the outline here,
Yeah.
but did you see the somewhat follow-up news that Sydney Sweeney is also attached to a Split Fiction movie?
I did see that. Yeah.
So
It's great.
she's throwing all her
Doing-
eggs
Doing
in all the
game
video game
movies.
baskets.
Sure, why not?
Get some of that
Yeah.
chicken jockey money.
Or that video game
Yeah.
cheddar.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yep.
Got to get paid.
They got to make one of these. If I sign on for all these video game movies, at least one of them's going to get made.
That's right.
One of these games will take off.
Probably.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Maybe.
Well, Nintendo Switch Online users, if you also sub to the expansion pack, we got a new game this past week for the GBA. Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones. Stones in your
Fire Emblem Stones.
Yep.
Yes. So
I had to pass one of those sacred stones about 8 months ago. It was not pleasant.
Oh, through your colon?
Yeah. Things are really
like
wrong
really
down there.
Back to the doctor.
Yeah, no,
Get
I've been seeing them probably about every 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeesh. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't play a Fire Emblem game until the DS.
Oh.
Awakening is the
I think
one that
most
I
people would say that here in
Yeah.
North America, wouldn't they? I mean,
yeah.
was there a Fire Emblem that came out before DS in North America?
Yes, the GBA one that I just
Yeah.
said,
Oh,
the Sacred
was there?
Stones.
Right.
And
The
then,
literal one we're talking about.
the literal one we're talking about. And
I was
there
too
was
busy
one
thinking about
before
your colon
that, too.
stones.
There
Okay.
was one before that too. So there's 2 on GBA.
I know it's
Right
hard to
now
resist,
on
Greg, but stay
expansion pass.
focused.
Nope.
Or expansion pack.
I'll send you one, Greg. Don't worry.
Yes.
One of your expansion packs?
Yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to mention that Expedition 33, that hot new game that came out, they've sold over 1 million copies in like
Wow.
the first 2 or 3 days.
Good for them.
That does not count Game Pass downloads.
And when you consider that they shadow dropped Oblivion on the same effing week,
The same week.
like what the hell is that about?
I know. That's pretty great for that. I'm so excited for this team that they sold 1 million
No, it's
copies
great.
even
Good for them.
after the Oblivion remaster hit the same week. Yeah. And were any of us excited about the Oblivion remaster? And this was a poorly kept secret that this thing existed. There were a lot of rumors about it, and then the Virtuos, their website, their WordPress installation, like spilled everything, including screenshots of the game, like the week before. So this was not a well kept secret that it was going to happen, but I guess the timing of release was somewhat a secret. But yeah,
I mean, I liked Oblivion. I never finished it. But it was, one of those games that came out back when everybody was playing the same thing on 360, right? Like we were just all
you'd
just sort of
log in.
migrating from game to game to game.
You'd log in and see everyone on your friends list was playing.
Yeah, I mean, I played probably about I think I played like 10 to 12 hours of it. Enjoyed it. But I'm way more of a, I don't know, we're not supposed to use this term, I don't think, but a JRPG guy.
Yeah.
I definitely prefer Japanese RPGs, right? Not like the computer RPGs have never been my thing. So
yeah, same here.
Same. But I did want to point out that the deluxe edition of this game includes horse armor sets. You remember
beginning of the end.
horse armor?
Oh yeah, that was
back in the day.
That was it, wasn't it?
Wasn't it only like $3? It was like 300 Microsoft points.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Yep.
Whatever they
Adorable.
were charging. And that was the beginning of microtransactions in console games.
I remember that sort of kicked off the whole controversy back then about paying extra for stuff that was already on the disc.
Yes.
We were all still buying physical discs back then.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. And I remember that being like that was a big deal for quite a while, actually.
Yeah.
So then they just decided to patch everything all the time, and
now
who knows what's on the disc at this point.
Exactly.
Now it's not such a big deal. There you go. Alrighty. Well,
Yeah.
that is the news. Now it's time for
All
what
the
you've been
news
playing.
that's fit to
You know
print.
what? Real quick.
What?
Real quick. I'm going to toss in one more thing.
Do it.
It's kind of a
Toss it
sad
in.
thing, though.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I learned that a notable sci-fi artist passed away earlier this week, and I posted about this on the Blue Sky.
Yeah.
And it's going a little viral, like it's taken off.
Oh.
But the artist's name is David Schleinkoffer.
Okay.
And you don't know David Schleinkoffer's name, but I guarantee you, as a listener of this podcast, you are familiar with at least one of his of the two works of art of his that I posted on the old Blue Sky. The one most relevant to our video game podcast here is the cover of SimCity 2000. That beautiful artwork of the bird's eye view of the city and the kind of Golden Gate-ish bridge, and you got the UFO hovering over it. It's an incredible box art, and he drew that. He also, for you 80s kids, he's the guy who painted the original back of the box mural on the old G1 Transformers toys.
Oh wow.
That artwork where you got Optimus Prime really
like toy authentic
yes
designs, which I always thought that was really cool.
Yep. Where it's Prime and like Starscream's really prominent there, and there's a big outer space battle happening.
Mm-hmm.
Same guy.
I love that mural.
Oh, absolutely. What 80s kid who was a big nerd didn't?
Yeah.
That was you'd have that on sheets and post. There it is.
Look at that. So great.
I had that on a lunchbox back in the day.
That's awesome.
Beautiful stuff.
I love that.
Yes. Oh, look at that. You brought up my little Blue Sky post.
I did.
Look at that.
I did bring it up. I wanted to see
that
how many
incredible SimCity artwork.
How many likes and retweets?
Look at that. 1.3 thousand likes.
Yeah.
Which for the Blue Sky, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah. I posted something on Blue Sky this week too.
Yeah.
That went a little viral too.
Oh, what was it?
It was
CJ's beard picture.
Oh, your shirt.
The meme caption that I wrote in EGM 30 years ago. Yeah, the game system can produce mind-boggling effects.
There
I was
it is.
wearing the shirt, posted a picture.
There it is. Oh wow,
8,000.
Even more.
Okay, like
twice as many likes. Look at that.
Kind of crazy. I did not expect that.
Take that, David Schleinkoffer.
People apparently really like that meme.
I guess so. Well,
yeah.
You can go.
Yeah.
CJ posting the thirst traps.
That's what it is.
Is that all it is?
Let's appreciate some fine art.
Oh, don't
that's
pretend
one
like
thing.
that's not what it was.
But CJ's like, look at my sexy body, and suddenly everyone's like, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Everybody look at my dad bod.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Showing off the dad bod and the nerd cred all in one.
The nerd cred. Yeah,
and you're making no money off that shirt that's stealing your writing.
No money. I know. Yeah.
It's
the internet now. The internet.
I'm on a tradition. Yeah.
That seems actionable.
The internet.
Where'd you buy that from?
Well, it was originally a tee from the Yeti.
Okay.
But I wasn't told about it until it was gone from the Yeti, and they only offer shirts for 24 hours, right?
Sometimes.
So
Why the
I had to do
hell
like an
does every
aftermarket.
single shopping experience need to be FOMO? What?
Because that's how you make the quick cash, man.
God, I
They
hate
make the quick cash.
this
So
online.
I got it on some other.
This is like a Redbubble or something.
No, it wasn't Redbubble. It was something else. But
is this a bootleg shirt?
It's a bootleg shirt.
It's a bootleg shirt of your stolen writing.
And the funny thing is, the Yeti retweeted it.
What, they retweeted your picture?
They retweeted my picture
of your bootleg shirt?
Of my bootleg shirt, not actually their shirt. Although I would wanted to give them money for it, but they didn't offer it.
Did you respond to them and say, by the way,
no,
send me a real one because this is a bootleg?
No. But I did end up friending the artist who actually did the shirt for the Yeti.
Oh yeah.
I didn't tell him either that it wasn't.
I hope he's not a listener of the show.
I don't think he is, but he.
What's his name? I want to point out this episode to him.
He did a lot of great shirts for the Yeti in the past. I think he did some things for Threadless as well, like really good stuff.
Okay.
And hopefully they put it back on sale, and then people can buy it, and I'll buy a real one.
I mean, they'll send you a real one. Come on.
I don't Like I said, that meme is the internet's now. The internet owns it.
Look at that. See, you're saying that now you'll never make money off of it.
I don't care though.
Because now it's on
I don't
record.
care. That's right. It is on record. It's owned
Like a
by the
chump.
internet. Yeah.
Like a chump.
But it was pretty much the first thing I did for EGM because it was my first issue.
Yeah.
Issue 61, the Super Return of the Jedi issue. And they forgot to put me in the masthead, which I believe happened to you too, Phil.
That did happen on my first issue as well, yeah.
But I did they were like, here, you write the news section. So I was like, okay. And Ed gave me the 2 high-8 tapes of footage that he took in Japan and a bunch of flyers and is like, here, write about the 32X and the PlayStation 1. I was like, okay, I'll take a bunch of screenshots from this high-8 of these games that I don't know anything about, and I didn't even know any.
Did you even know what
Japanese
game you were writing a caption for?
No, because I couldn't understand.
Ed Semrad was a great boss.
I couldn't read kana
right.
katakana or anything at that point. So no,
This is Kingsfield, right?
Kingsfield, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I had to put something there. All those boxes had to have captions.
And your mind clearly was boggled.
My mind was boggled.
So there it goes.
And then it became a meme. Who knew? Anyway.
Yep.
Let's do what you've been playing. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Phil.
Yes.
What games, other than the Switch 2 pre-order, click the mouse as fast as possible?
That's the most challenging game of them all.
That's right. What games are you playing other than that?
I downloaded last night. I haven't played this yet because I know you and Greg have been playing this.
Yeah.
I don't know to what extent, but the old the Clair Obscur
Expedition 33.
Order 66.
No.
I downloaded that on the old Game Pass last because everyone's talking about that. Everyone seems to be very excited about that. So,
very exciting.
I'm sure I knew this at one point. I had forgotten it, but you reminded me last night that it's on the old Game Pass. So I said, well, in that case, let me just download this here. But also, I figured 10 o'clock at night is not the best time to be starting up an RPG. So I did not.
Probably not. Yeah.
I did not play. After all, I have to stay up in case any new systems go up for sale.
You got to be well rested
at midnight or later.
Yeah.
So can't start an RPG at that point, but it is downloaded. I am going to give it a try.
I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
I'm curious to hear what you two think about it.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I spent the bulk of this week when I was playing games playing the Dave the Diver.
Dave the Diver.
Dave the Diver. Like that song, the Taylor Swift song. There's
I think I had that on
Target exclusive vinyl. You had to be right there ready to go at 1 a.m. to pick that up. But
was it Taylor's version?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay,
Are you kidding?
naturally.
Yeah. I only buy authentic Taylor version Taylor Swift songs. Anything else is just an imitation, Greg.
Uncivilized.
Oh.
Great poupon.
So I've been playing Dave the Diver, which I'm enjoying it on its own. But of course, what I'm really working towards is the Godzilla stuff and the Ichiban stuff.
You're angling towards that Ryuga Gotoku.
Wow.
You're trying to bait us.
Did that work?
Hook, line, and sinker, CJ. It absolutely did.
Excellent.
But last night, I did indeed get to the Godzilla bit.
Excellent.
I started the Godzilla quest.
Cool.
So you guys have played this game, yeah?
No, I have. Yeah.
Greg has not. CJ, did you finish it, CJ?
No, I didn't finish it yet. I've played through a bunch of it on the Steam Deck.
Okay. How far did you get, out of curiosity?
I don't know.
Like what has happened in the game?
It was probably chapter 3 or 4.
Okay. I'm gonna spoil some Dave the Diver plot.
Do
Did
it.
you get to like the underwater people? Did you
Yes.
you met
yes.
the
Yeah. I've
okay?
met
So
the
you met
people.
the merfolk.
Mhm.
So so the structure of this game, you know, it's linear. It goes day by day. Every day in game time there are 3. You have a morning, you have an afternoon, you have an evening. Traditionally, you fish during the morning and afternoon. At night, you're in your sushi bar serving up your
Tasty
catches
sushi.
of the day. But the way and you know there are plot beats that occur in a specified order. But also at the same time, you're constantly sort of like the main storyline is being interrupted by, a visitor shows up at the sushi restaurant, which triggers a new subquest, or a group of people say that they're going to have a party in a few days. Like you have 3 days, and they're going to come to your sushi bar for a party, and they want all the jellyfish they can eat. So then that's your cue to just go fishing for jellyfish, that sort of thing. And the structure of the game is such where sometimes those little surprise occurrences sort of overlap the main story mode.
Yep.
And they can kind of interfere with each other, but what happens is the non time exclusive stuff kind of gets bumped back.
Yeah.
You know, like I had a party that was going to be showing up in 3 days, but then on that third day, when the party was supposed to occur, a plot beat happened, so the party got bumped back another day. That kind of thing. And this is what happened with Godzilla. So I start off, I'm hanging out on my boat, and all of a sudden, someone shows up, triggers the Godzilla quest. Because it turns out all this DLC is integrated into the plot. It's not just
that's
like,
cool.
you know, you're not hanging out on your boat and then someone says like, oh, if you move your boat to this area, it'll start the Godzilla storyline. It's all woven into the main story. So
That's kind of cool, actually.
yeah, I mean it's neat. It's actually not bad. And so I got the Godzilla part triggered, and you go down into this secret little underground cavern, and you find Godzilla, who is asleep. And
Aw.
it's like, whoa, you know, you're swimming right up to Godzilla's face, and it's all like, oh, this is crazy. And then it stops because the actual story, like the linear game story, started happening. So suddenly my Godzilla story got put on hold,
You gotta love that.
and I was just like, no, I want to finish my Godzilla bits. But I had to go through, and I was playing it earlier this afternoon, right before the show, and then it just so happened right before we started recording, I had cleared out enough of the main story beats to suddenly get the, oh, hey, by the way, now let's get into our submarine and we're going to go down and see Godzilla because there's another giant kaiju approaching. And I was just like, well, crap. And it's like a, you know, it flows right into there. There's no opportunity to stop and save your game. So I got my system out there right now.
Oh,
In
playing it on
uh,
PS5 in rest mode.
It's in rest mode right now. So let's go.
Yeah.
So I can get back to it. But I'm very excited to see what happens. I do know, and this is not a, you know, this was in the trailer. You end up having a confrontation with a classic Godzilla kaiju enemy called Ebirah, the horror of the deep, I believe. Look what it's Ebirah. It's a lobster.
Nice.
It's a giant lobster. I have a toy Ebirah. Of course I do.
Yes.
I had to get that down off of its little shelf because I'm playing a game with Ebirah in it now. How often do you see that? Ebirah, you know, one of the more obscure Godzilla enemies. You know,
Okay.
not a Rodan or a King Ghidorah. Nobody cares about Ebera, but it is thematically appropriate to Dave the Diver. And so I'm very excited to get through that bit. And then hopefully, I have no idea when, because I'm past the point. The Ichiban stuff, when I installed it, said, "Oh, once you get to chapter 5, Ichiban's Holiday becomes available." But
It's just gonna turn into a mishmash where it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
fire everything off at once.
Yeah. So I don't know, because I'm actually in like chapter 6 or 7 at this point. So at some point, I'm assuming at some point after I finish off the Godzilla bits, Ichiban's gonna show up.
Yeah.
Because
I have to imagine, yeah.
I mean, if Ichiban shows up while Godzilla's there, that'd just be too much for my little heart to handle. I couldn't deal with that. It would
Yeah.
make me too happy. So
I mean, Sega should already do a side game where it's like a dragon and Godzilla.
I mean, it's just a matter of time, right?
It
I'm sure
has
that's
to
been
be.
pitched at some point.
I
Has to
mean,
be.
that series is getting sillier and sillier.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the stop before Yakuza in space has to be
Giant monsters.
Right.
That may or may not include Godzilla. Yeah. Totally.
So anyway, so,
I mean,
but
Sega
I am
did do
enjoying.
a Godzilla licensed thing back in the day, right? So
What's that?
Remember the Godzilla
they?
VMU?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh my god, right. Yes,
Yeah.
the one everyone had way before the system came out.
That I couldn't save any games on it.
Oh, couldn't you?
I think it was actually useless as a memory card.
Nice. You know what? I don't remember if I ever tried.
Wait, was it really?
I seem to remember that. I could be wrong, but
When has that ever happened?
Yeah. From the what was it?
All the
Godzilla
time.
Generations was the game.
Godzilla Generations, yes.
Yeah, I never got back in the day. I never got the old Godzilla VMU
Yeah.
because the Dreamcast couldn't play imports, right?
No.
No, unless you got a key disc.
Right. But that was a launch
That was
game,
a few
right?
years into the.
Yeah.
It was a launch game in Japan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was never released outside Japan.
No.
But yeah, so I never got around to getting it.
Yeah.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Oh well. But anyway, Dave the Diver is a lot
So
of
you're
fun.
Playing Dave the Diver still.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm torn though, because I still got I started up South of Midnight, which I was enjoying. And now we got this Expedition 33. Still got Lunar.
Yep.
And that's why I'm trying to focus on one at a time.
Hurt too many games.
Yeah, so I don't know what to do next. I might shift my focus to South of Midnight and get through that.
It's supposed to be pretty short, relatively
is.
speaking.
Yeah.
Right. Well, from what I've heard, Expedition 33 is only like maybe 30 hours.
30 hours, yeah.
So that's not like a huge time sink like some of your Final Fantasies or whatnot.
True.
Certainly not your Like a Dragons.
Also true.
But yeah, we'll see where I go next. Because there's a lot coming out. I also understand there's apparently a new video game system coming out soon, which will have some new games as well.
For some of us,
Yeah. Pretty soon.
Us night owls were able to get one. But
Actually, yeah, 9 o'clock is night owl time for me. I am usually either in bed or moving that direction.
Yeah.
9 o'clock. Yeah. And then playing video games for an hour.
South of Midnight.
Yeah.
Looking at howlongtobeat.com.
Yeah.
Main story is like 9.5 hours.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Main and sides 11.5.
Perfect.
So yeah, so maybe I'll try and knock that one out next.
Okay.
We'll see. Anyway, that's what I've been playing. CJ,
Yeah.
what have you been playing?
Well, Phil, I finished Split Fiction.
Well, there you go. Just in time for the
did you finish
movie.
it? Or did Mike finish it?
Well,
Oh.
let's say I was definitely a detriment to the playthrough on many levels. But man, that is a fun game. It is a really fun game. The gameplay styles that they have you doing, I mean, usually you can kind of call it like based on some other game or movie license or IP or something, but it's always really fun, and nothing gets too boring or tedious, which for a game that's this long, and probably about 13 or so hours, divided over many weekends we played it. So it's a long game, and but it's really fun, and especially the finale. I won't spoil it, but they're doing some really cool tricks with how everything is done, because so the characters Mio and Zoe are authors who Zoe writes a sort of fantasy fiction, and Mio writes futuristic sci-fi. And the whole idea of the story is this Raider Technologies group has made this machine that basically sucks the ideas out of your without and puts it to paper without you actually having to write
paid
it
for it?
yourself. So a lot of fans of what is it, G.R.R. Martin, right? That's the guy's name.
George
It's-
R.R. Martin.
George R.R. Martin. There you go. If they could only put him in one of these machines to spit out the books in a hurry instead of on his timetable. But yeah, so this evil corporation exists, and they have this machine. I guess they're evil. When you first show up, the two characters show up. They think it's going to be great because they're going to be published. They don't realize that it's a machine that's going to suck out all their ideas and basically take it from them.
But I do love that you're saying you guess they're evil.
Well, they are evil, yeah. They're definitely evil. But at first, it doesn't seem like they are. They're
Right.
trying not to be. And then, yeah, they're evil. And you get stuck in the machine together, Zoe and Mio, and their worlds collide. Their sci-fi and their fantasy fiction overlaps, and they get caught in each other's worlds. And a friendship blossoms, and there are lots of fun interaction points where you just sit down and talk in the game. We did all 6 of those. We did all.
It's one of those talk 'em ups.
It's talk 'em up. Yeah. No. But yeah, the finale is really cool, and it's a really long game, but really fun. Highly recommend playing it with a buddy. And yeah, I loved it. It's great. Great time. And it's going to become a movie, apparently.
Right after Outrun.
Right after Outrun. But I would not be so. They could make a good movie out of Split Fiction, I think. But anyway, then I was playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. So this game is from a French indie studio called Sandfall Interactive. This is their first game. And if you've watched any of the behind the scenes videos, which I highly suggest you do, this is a group of people that loves JRPGs, but old school JRPGs, like PS1, 16-bit era, etc. So, and one of the coolest stories in the videos that they've done on this is how they found the composer of the music, which, by the way, the soundtrack of this
Is incredible.
great.
Oh, really?
Soundtrack is incredible.
Oh my god.
And
Like,
also
it's-
available on streaming services. So
Whew.
highly recommend listening to that. But so they found the composer because he posted his SoundCloud to a video game like music appreciation forum,
Cool.
Oh.
and the director hired him off of his SoundCloud stuff. He had been like composing like quote unquote video game inspired music for months or years, and it just posted it to SoundCloud, and then the game director found it and hired him, and it's an amazing soundtrack. It's
That's like-
great.
That's really similar to the story of the person who did the opening for Severance, isn't it? I believe that special
really?
effects person was found online. I think he was like
Oh,
a
really?
YouTuber or something.
Huh.
Yeah, I love that. It's great. It's a great story, and it seems like the whole team, just like if you watch any of the documentary stuff that they've released on it, it's just like a really passionate team about about old school RPGs and wanting to have that flavor. The basic story of the game is you are in this world where this entity called the Paintress every year like has drawn this number on the mountain and everybody who is that age or older instantly dies, instantly like turned into
Yeah,
smoke.
it looks like the finger snap from the Avengers.
Yeah. And so when you first start the game, and this happens at like a regular interval enough so that they've like put together a holiday or like an event around watching the next number, and it's not always sequential, it's not always just 1 year down apparently, and so it went from 34 to 33, and you as the main character, Gustav, your girlfriend,
Well, ex-girlfriend.
ex-girlfriend,
It's important.
but you still feel
Yeah,
for
the whole
her.
point of the opening is that you
That
still
you
feelings,
still
but yeah.
have feelings, that she is 34, and yeah, the whole ceremony, the number is written and she disappears, and it's
So, like, that's, to me, that was the only confusing bit about the intro, was that they all seem pretty sure that it was going to go to 33,
yeah.
but then seem really surprised when it went to 33.
I don't know
Hmm.
about surprised.
Well, yeah, I
I
guess
don't know about surprised.
like what you're saying, right? Is like it wasn't a foregone conclusion it would be sequential.
Yeah.
But then well, I don't know, right? Because a lot of the conversations after that, they were sort of doing the math. Like there's a whole quiz you have to do at one point in the expedition party where you have to sort of work backwards to how long this has been going on. And I thought it was basically 100 minus the difference of like minus 67 or 66 at this point. Anyway, whatever.
I don't think that
Yeah.
was a required quiz because I don't think I did.
No, but there's
that.
like a whole, so after that all happens in the storyline, then like Gustav is the leader of this expedition 33 now.
Yeah.
Where they're going to go try to figure out how to
continent.
stop this.
Yeah.
To the continent. You're clearly in an alternate universe version of Paris.
Yeah.
Because the Arc de Triomphe is there, and the
Lumiere,
France.
Tower, and
the name is Lumiere.
Lumiere, right?
Oh, yes.
So, but yeah, like you're not on the mainland. So the whole idea is that there are expeditions that are sent out, I guess, after every time the Paintress changes the number.
Yeah.
To go see if there's a way to stop this from happening. But there's like a party after everyone died. They have a party.
Yeah.
As a send off.
I guess. Did they have the party after everyone dies or before?
Yeah, they did. They had it after.
I guess you're right.
I mean, it was like a street festival, but then
it seems like the narrative's
people.
really clear in this game.
There were a lot fewer people there.
Well, that was kind of the whole running narrative, was like they were saying that how many were actually at the party. It was more than last time because they had 5 tables instead of 3 or something like that.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. It was a little bit, I found it a little unclear as to whether or not the number was going to be sequential. And then when the Paintress woke up and she painted 33, it's like, oh, okay. So it was.
But it's not always sequential?
Apparently not.
Apparently
so,
not.
I mean, in the context of the game, that's all you've seen. When you start, you can see the mountain in the distance and it has a big 34 on it. And then you go through the whole intro sequence, and then it leads up to the actual intro of the game. And she wakes up and she erases the 34 and she paints 33.
So like 1 year it could be 34 written there, which means everyone 34 or older dies.
It's always a smaller number, I think.
Oh, it's always smaller. Okay.
They don't know how much smaller.
So it's not like the next year it's 57 and everyone gets a year off from dying.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I really
kind of-
liked the intro though.
Yeah.
It's a powerful intro. It
Yeah.
doesn't have much fluff to it, but it reminds me of 16-bit RPGs. It
reminded me of Chrono
Trigger.
Yeah.
The most, actually.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because you're in the market and you're going, like, they're having that party and it just the festival or whatever, and it felt like this is Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
This feels
Very much so.
at home with that.
Yeah.
And then so Expedition 33, you meet like the other people in the party during the intro, and I guess I'm going to spoil a little bit of this. Should I? I guess I have to.
I mean,
some of it.
I don't want to, especially where Phil is probably going to play it. I don't think you should talk too much detail about what happens after they set off.
Okay. I won't
something
talk in too
happens
much.
and then the
Something
game
happens.
proper starts.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
something that happens is friggin' cool.
It
Okay.
is so cool.
I would say, I mean,
one of the coolest scenes in
Does
video games.
does it
in a
involve
while.
Ebera showing up? The
no.
giant
No.
lobster kaiju?
No.
I would say the thing that's really
That
the
would've
thing
been
that
cool,
really is getting me about this game right off the bat. And I mean, in the when we first saw this, or when we saw clips of it previously, I mean, we're getting that feeling as well.
Yeah.
It really feels like a Squaresoft game, like a
It really
Squaresoft game
does.
from like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
Like
does.
it's the story feels like sufficiently epic right off the bat.
Yep.
The character designs are really nice. The music is fucking incredible. And
It
like
is,
the
yeah.
world looks great. It just, everything about it feels really polished. And then when you get into the cutscenes, I mean, they look fantastic.
Yeah, they do.
Like I'm so impressed by it. It leaves such a great first impression.
It makes a fantastic first impression.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was into it.
Yeah, me
I
too.
was invested.
Yeah.
Let's say, after all that happens. And then so things open up and there is an open world. There is an overworld.
Mhm.
And that's sort of a hub, and then you go into sort of smaller, more linear spaces. It is a linear feeling RPG at this point, although you can go you can fast travel back to points that you've been to before, because
Yes, you're way further than I am, because I literally had time to try it out, and I got into like the
Oh.
first major gameplay area.
oh, okay.
So
One of the cool little things is that each expedition that has come before you has left a flag in the ground from their expedition, and you use that as a rest point. It's almost like campfire in Dark Souls or something, where you can rest there, and there you upgrade your weapons, you can learn new skills, unlock new skills, and also refresh your items. So the way that this game uses items is really interesting. There's no like item shop per se that you have to like buy healing stuff from. No, there's like Dark
it's just-
Souls, you have
yeah.
an elixir, right? That is a health elixir, and you have one recharge of that anytime between flags, and you can use it. And if you need another one, you got to go back to a flag or forge forward and find the next flag to recharge. And that's also how it works with health items in battle. So you have 3 health items that revive a dead ally or give you AP or HP, and you have a certain number of uses for those. And then if you go to a flag and rest, you recharge those, which is nice.
yeah, so it feels
So
really
not have to worry.
streamlined.
Not having to worry about item management is actually really nice. I
But
really like that about this game.
That to me feels like, so far, and again, you're further than I am. I wish I'd had time to play more of it, but I just was going away this weekend and it came out, and it's like, well, I really want to try this because I've been looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it really feels, and we can get into the battle system here in a minute too, but I think they called this out, is that they seem to have gone out of their way to simplify it as much as possible, to get rid of the you're not navigating endless menus, and you're not learning all kinds of different combat systems, and and I'm
Well,
I'm digging it. Well, now I could be wrong
mm.
about that, but still, it feels simplistic in a
Yes,
good way.
it does in a very good way. And you do have to learn different combat systems somewhat because the characters in your party have different abilities. And in order to use those to the fullest, you have to know there's like a certain flow to combat that becomes evident after the point where you are, Greg.
Mhm.
But one of the things I really like is that you can. Uh, at the beginning of a battle, just draw your gun and shoot
Yeah,
an enemy. And
which
that
takes
actually,
AP points, right?
it
That's
takes one
one.
AP to
Yeah,
shoot. Yeah.
yeah,
Which then you may not have enough AP in order to pull off a skill attack or something like that.
right.
But later on, you'll find out that enemies that are flying, that are not on the ground, you actually have to shoot them
To make them
because
land.
a physical attack on a flying enemy doesn't hit.
Okay.
So I thought that was a really interesting kind of mix up of the gameplay. Some enemies have weak point. Well, yeah, some enemies have weak points as well.
Mhm.
So if you shoot them in their weak point, it'll either do more damage, or if that weak point is explosive, it'll do damage to other enemies. So there's like a real flow with that. And then the three characters have pretty different skill sets.
Yeah.
The only one I'm absolutely sure of is Gustav. And with him, there's this thing that you can use called overcharge. And each time you attack, you add points to his overcharge bucket. And once it maxes out, which is getting to 10, if you use the overcharge attack at that point, it does a huge amount of damage.
Yeah. It feels like limit breaks from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And then Lune is different than that, and then
Aren't
Mael is different
hers are
than
more
that.
elemental, right?
Hers
Lune's
are
attacks
elemental.
are more elemental, and I think the thing to learn with those is kind of you can not mix and match, but they can have different effects.
Yeah.
So, like, if you use a fire elemental, I don't know if it's on every enemy, but it'll create like a burn effect.
Yes.
And I think you can stack onto that somehow using different elemental effects.
Yes, you can stack
hers-
onto that. Some will apply like more burn to
Right.
an already burned enemy, which is fantastic. And then another thing that it does is it has this system called, and the funny thing is you were talking about how much simplifying they've done. Yes, they have simplified a lot, but there's a lot of, I feel anyway, there's a lot of depth within that simplification that they've done. So there's these items called pictos, and these are like your
Like
special
tattoos?
abilities or like your job system
Hmm.
things from other games. And the thing about that is it gives you like a special attribute, but once you have won 4 battles with that picto equipped, it becomes usable for everybody in your party.
Permanent
Permanent-
passives, somebody in the
perm-
chat just mentioned.
Permanent passives, yes.
Yeah.
Through a different system called the Lumina system, and you have to put points towards that. But anybody in the party can use those passive abilities
Yeah.
or those picto abilities. Fantastic, just good.
So, as far as the battle system goes, and I think I saw you mention this on, I don't know, it was in Discord or if it
Slack.
was on Slack. Okay. You can dodge and you can parry attacks.
Yes,
I don't want to say it's difficult. I
Mm.
haven't figured
but it's
out.
difficult.
I haven't figured out. I look like an idiot because a lot of these enemies that I've seen so far, when they're going to attack you, they'll run right up to your character.
Yep.
And then they'll begin an attack animation, but they're generally pretty drawn out. And so I'm hitting dodge, and my character's just hopping back and hopping back and hopping back
Multiple
like-
times.
and
Yes,
I feel
mine too.
stupid because, like, okay, clearly there's like an indicator of when I'm supposed to dodge,
Yeah.
and I haven't figured that out yet. And then the other thing
I
that
don't
I'm
think
not
there's a
100%,
graphical indicator.
I think there is.
there?
I know there was in some of the earlier enemies because their animation would really slow down for a second,
Hmm.
and it's like, okay,
Yeah,
that's
that
when I
doesn't-
have to.
That
hit
doesn't
the dodge
happen
button.
later.
But then what I don't understand is that you also you want to parry if you can, but I don't know why I would choose one or the other. Like, is there a
dodging?
good point to do that?
I think there is
or-
a good point. I think parrying then allows you to attack the enemy that just attacked you, I believe.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying, like,
Whereas
is
a
it
dodge, you
mix and
just
match,
don't-
or is it like, do I want to parry instead of dodge? Do I want to dodge instead of parry? Like, I haven't
Yeah.
figured out if there's a reason to do either or yet.
Hmm.
So, but again,
Yeah.
I haven't played it that much past the
Some
intro section.
of that comes into play also with the third character you meet, Mael, who you parry with her, and some of her her thing is that she has different stances that
Okay.
affect how much damage she takes or inflicts, and a parry can change her stance, which can be nice. Can be very
Interesting.
nice.
Okay.
So at least I think so. I think I'm saying that right. But yeah, a lot of like the funny thing is, yeah, I'm terrible at dodging, terrible at even worse at parrying. Like I'm bad.
Like I
even worse
said,
at
there
that.
have to be tells that we haven't figured out yet.
And then later on, they introduce another thing onto that you could do.
I love that we started this conversation with how simple the battle system is.
I know, but actually, in practice, to me, in the
Yeah,
pace
this
that they've
sounds
been
way more complicated than
introducing-
it is.
The pace that they've been introducing these things, it's like they kind of layer another thing on top and then layer another thing on top of that. So, at least in my experience, you have gotten used to what comes before when they layer something else on
Right.
top. One thing that you'll be able to do instead of just dodging and parrying is jump. So an enemy that does like earth damage or like throws something that'll hit the entire party, they have a tell on that will tell you to jump. And if you jump while you're in the air jumping, you can press right trigger and trigger an attack on the enemy that you're facing, and it's so
Okay.
super cool. So the enemy like jumps up to do this thing, or they wind up, you jump over whatever it is they threw at you, so your entire party is in the air at this time, and then you hit right trigger and everybody attacks the opponent. It's just super cool. It's really really nice, let's say. I like it. It's a great game.
Yeah. I mean, again, I've only really played sort of the prologue and then into the game proper for a little bit, but
Yeah.
they
The
were
story
saying
is
they wanted to
great.
invoke like classic JRPGs, and I feel like they've been very successful.
They
at that right off
have,
the bat.
and all the while, it feels very, very French.
Oh
Yeah.
And not just when you meet up with the mime enemy. Have you seen a mime yet?
No.
You will probably meet a mime. When you fight the mime, the battle music is like an accordion. It's
That's
so,
fantastic.
like Lady and the Tramp style, like accordion version of the battle theme that plays, and it's awesome. Fighting mimes is tough. Really tough. They're
Always
like
walking against the wind.
a really tough enemy that you if you beat them, you get something cool. So anyway.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more of it. The thing for me at this point, I mentioned last week, is I really feel like I have too many games going on.
I do
but yeah,
too. Yeah.
but I feel like I'm so close to the end of Silent Hill 2. But anyway,
And Expedition 33 is a really good game.
yeah.
So far,
Okay.
anyway. Yeah. All right, and that's all I've been playing. So that means it's time for Greg to talk.
Hang on.
Hit the mute button.
Oh.
We can just talk about how Expedition 33 is great.
Well, I'll have to try it.
I think you'll. Well, I don't know, because you weren't really a Final Fantasy guy, were you?
I never
old
really
school
got into the
Final
Final
Fantasy?
Fantasy games, although
Yeah.
admittedly I have not played 6/3.
You haven't.
I have not.
Oh,
That's
okay.
one of my
Ooh,
video game shames.
I see.
The first Final Fantasy game that I actually sat down and played was 7, which I did not take.
That doesn't make you unique.
No. I am aware of that.
Right.
Yeah,
But
nothing to be ashamed of is what I'm saying.
I haven't played the kind of old school one that, I mean, not that 7 isn't old school at this point, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean. Pixel
So,
based.
have you not played the Pixel remasters?
No, I picked them up with the intention to play them at some point because I do want to play 6.
Set the first one on easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll tear through it in no time.
Okay.
Like that's a short game. That was
Oh,
a
yeah.
short game even without those easy settings.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's a good. I mean, first one holds up pretty well, to be honest. I think it holds up
Oh, yeah.
better than Dragon Quest personally,
Okay.
but yeah. But set it on easy and just cruise through
Right.
it. And then honestly, the nice thing about them, of course, is they're not really related to one another. So just jump to 6.
Exactly.
Play 1, 4, and 6. those are the ones to play. I mean, the other ones are good, but yeah.
Right.
Anyway, sorry. Just my son just walked into the room just as I was supposed to speak. So yes, played some Expedition 33. Really enjoyed that. I got back into South of Midnight after we spoke last week, Phil. Played another like hour or so. I met the catfish.
Okay.
I have not freed him yet. I'm sort of working my way around that area and like getting the story of the two brothers right now. So I don't know that I've hit the thing that you were waiting for me to hit.
You are absolutely on the verge of it.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah. If you played it
like
for maybe another half hour.
Okay, so I will have played that through this week. I'm still really enjoying it. I don't really have much more to say about it.
Right.
I need to go back to that one too, but there's too many games out.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, again, I mentioned this before. Like speaking of games with Expedition 33 and South of Midnight, both have great soundtracks.
Yeah.
It's really nice. So, but the main thing that I've been playing, again, when I've had the chance, is Silent Hill 2. I was playing it a couple hours again today. I'm so close to the end of it, but I have to say, for as much as I'm enjoying it, it's starting to overstay its welcome. I'm pushing 20 hours, and I really think the fact that it's so, I mean, the further you get into the game, it really likes to put you into these really like crushingly dark areas, which is fine, but it's relentless.
Now, when you say dark, you mean a lack of light?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the whole game is dark, but yeah, as in like you're walking down lots of corridors or lots of caves, and it's just like even with your flashlight, you can barely see a thing. So, which I get it. That's the point, and that's what makes it scary. But it's going on so long now that I feel like I know the section I was just in was the labyrinth, and the whole point of this section is it's 3 different areas that are connected by this room that's a big cube, and then in front of that is like a smaller cube on a pedestal that you can rotate and spin, and that moves the big room around, and that opens up the entrances to the 3 or 4 different areas in the labyrinth. So there's like this crossroads in the middle that you're using, and it just goes on and on. And I'm just like, I had gotten to the point today actually where it's like, I need this game to give me a break just for a minute. Like, just, you know what I mean? Like, let me get outside for a second, or just do something that brightens up this world just a tiny bit. So I was chatting with Ben Rivers and the Scoops as well, and Alpha, some of all our listeners, and I've been kind of chatting with them on a group chat while I'm playing this. I'll bring it up every now and then, and I was saying, like, I'm enjoying this. I am, but I'm kind of ready for it to be over now too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pushing 20 hours on it. I've enjoyed my 20 hours, but I'm starting to think forward and think, like, how many more hours of this do I want to play? And that's when one of them had mentioned, like, they actually padded the game in the remake. It's actually longer, apparently.
What?
Yeah. So, and the area that I was in is apparently one of the areas that has a decent amount of new content, which I guess is good. if that's how you measure the value of games, which I know a lot of people do, especially in this day and age. That's why we have so many games that are like hundreds of hours of content. But boy, I certainly am not one of them. And yeah, it's starting to drag. But happily, right at the end of my play session tonight, before we started the show, I did finish that area. I fought the boss. I'm back out in Silent Hill again, and I know from people telling me, my understanding is I'm heading into the final area of the game. So I just hit that threshold where it's like, okay, I'm outside again. I'm ready to see what's next. But I feel like if I hadn't done that in this session, I'd be seriously considering not playing further. Just because I mean, a lot of it is, of course, there are 2 other games right now that I really want to be playing. But again, for what the experience is, I feel like 20 hours would be a nice stopping point for this experience. So I don't know what to say. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going because I'm so close. I would hate to stop so close to the end. But yeah, I was really not digging it today. So apparently they added a lot more enemies in there too. So and then the other thing that I did is I actually did end up purchasing a physical copy of the Lunar Remastered Collection.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, I
one did you
grabbed
get?
that. PlayStation 4.
Nice.
So I tried that out. Really, I just, I had to pop it in and try it out because I mean it's Lunar and I have to try it out. Just to sort of see what the updated version looked like and sounded like. And I have to say, I mean, I only played into the White Dragon Cave.
Right.
I think the new voice acting is pretty good. I don't have a complaint. It is a little jarring, but it's jarring because I'm so used to what it was
before
25 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, those of us who were really into those games were pretty familiar with those voice actors. But I mean, without that context, everything we've heard so far is great. They sound good. I felt like my only real worry at one point was that I don't know if it's the same actress who's voicing Luna and who's singing as Luna. But when this actress sings, she's good. She sounds older. And in the first game, in this remake, the first time you ever meet Luna, the first time you ever hear her voice, she's singing. And so she sounded much older than the character is when she was singing at the very beginning. And I was like, oh, I hope this doesn't sound like some, middle-aged person who's playing this teenage girl. But then when she started speaking, the voice I felt the voice fit the character much better. But I don't know. There was just something about the quality of her singing that made it sound like she was an older person. But other than that, yeah, visually, it looks pretty good. I kind of like the blurring effect they're using in the overhead stuff.
Oh yeah.
Around the edges. That kind of works for me. I'm digging that. The videos look pretty good, although every now and then they definitely have that smoothed over up-res or upscaled, like AI upscaled.
Yeah.
And I think when it's really noticeable is when characters are small.
Oh, okay.
I see it in the scenes because a lot of times Null is sitting on Alex's shoulder. So in a wide shot of Alex looks good, but Null is this small white character sitting on his shoulder, and it's just like he just looks I don't know,
slightly off.
Smooth,
blobbish.
Yeah,
Smeary.
it's I don't know how to describe it. So that, and I just noticed every now and then the frame rate goes a little crazy on those videos. So, but I'm sure that the original animations are long gone. I'm sure that they're working with what they had, and that's fine. It still looks pretty good. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's bereft of features as far as difficulty and stuff like that, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah.
But overall, it looks good.
Yeah.
I'm not running to play it or anything because I've been playing through the original Sega CD games on my Twitch channel for the last year. So, but I would like to get in and play it just to, experience the differences. And it's nice to have those games released on a modern console. It's been
Heck yeah.
way too long coming. So, yeah, that's what I was playing this week.
Cool. Well, I guess that means it's time to head for blue skies.
I wanna fly sky high. Let's go together.
All right, let's do this one from listener Jason, who asks, when are gamers ever going to realize that their online calls for boycotts just make them look like fools? And of course, this is regarding the drop the price in the Treehouse stream, and then juxtaposed with the headline Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders are sold out everywhere.
I mean, I think that's a pretty sweeping statement for there was no chance that the price was ever going to drop.
No.
But I mean, I don't know. What about Sonic the Hedgehog? It sure was successful with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Well, but initially, I mean, they changed how Sonic looked.
That's what I'm saying.
Backlash, right?
Yeah.
And that worked in its
Yeah.
favor. Do you think it would have been as successful with the old look?
No.
Oh, absolutely not. Come
No.
on. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Well-
I get it. Like the thing with every time somebody doesn't like something online, we're boycotting it. I get it. It's
Yeah.
usually useless, but it doesn't never work.
It doesn't never work. And to me, I think it's a little early to say that the price was fine. I think
Yeah, because it's
The initial-
pre-orders.
yeah, it's pre-orders. The initial pre-orders of this thing were always going to sell out no matter
Right.
the price. But the people who were chanting drop the price, did all of them pre-order, or are we talking about the people who would buy it like a month, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months
Yeah, I
later,
think
right?
I think the proof will be over the next like 2 years.
Yeah, you're
Like,
not going to see
that's-
that immediately on that one.
Right. I am really curious to see, and I've been saying that since they announced those prices in the first place. Like, I'm curious to see over a couple of years, because I mean, the game industry in general has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious to see if Nintendo can keep up the level of success that they've had with the Switch 2, considering how much more expensive everything is.
Yeah.
And it won't only be based on that, obviously. I mean, the economy is a much bigger beast, but yeah, pre-orders were never going to prove anything. They were always going to sell out on these pre-orders.
Yeah, they were. That is for sure. All right. Let's do this one. I'll share the screen here from Agfu Young, who says, is Greg ever going to talk about the hot new Mega Drive game that's out there now? Really fun idea. I'd watch him stream this one. It is Farming Simulator 16-bit edition.
I sincerely doubt I will get this. I
I
have watched videos of it. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah.
For what it is, it doesn't look like something I would play.
But what about the
But,
limited green cartridge,
Oh
Greg?
God.
I am interested in this game, not for the game, but for the soundtrack,
Oh, yeah?
which is composed by Chris Hulsbeck. I don't know exactly how to pronounce his last name,
Mm-hmm.
but he is a German video game music composer who has been composing music for a long, long time. Among the many works that he has scored, he did the music for the Great Gianna Sisters.
Yeah.
And like the Turrican games, and a lot of that era, that kind of like Amiga, Commodore
Cool.
64 era of gaming. So
Okay.
and he did the soundtrack for this as well. And
Nice.
I love his soundtracks. So
right.
I don't know. I'll think about this. It comes out May 14th. So
I mean,
Hmm.
you're the Genesis guy, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to be all about that Sega Genesis.
Where's
I'm still waiting for Yuzo Koshiro's new shooter. That's the thing that I'm excited about.
where's the Generation 16 episode on Farming Sim?
Well,
Yeah,
I'm still in 1991.
It's time to start working backwards.
Yeah.
Probably is
Yeah.
actually.
Meet in the middle.
Exactly. Let's wrap up with this one from hacker alias Dark Bossman, who says, "Hey guys, have you ever had a strange or downright weird interaction with the fan? I love when you recount tales of your exploits." I don't think so.
I mean,
I can't recall.
you realize we're not like really famous, right?
Speak for
Right.
yourself.
I mean,
I mean that's
infamous is
true.
different, Greg. That's a whole.
When we were in video game journalism, this was pre-internet era, really, where you where it wasn't. Yeah, you didn't really have odd interactions with fans, and I think everything like at PAX, every like interaction that I've had has been really good. I don't think I've ever had like a weird interaction with anybody.
Yeah, the few times when we've been out and about, and usually, at like PAX or some sort of video game thing where someone's like, "Oh, you're the player
It's you
one guys."
Yeah,
Like everyone's always been super nice.
I know. Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, the closest I could come to it, but I wouldn't call it weird. It was just unexpected. Was that time we went to lunch? Was it Giordano's or I forget where it was? Do you remember,
No.
CJ? I think you were in that group where our waitress came out with an issue of the magazine. Were you there for that? We were taking some. Normally, when PR folks from the different game publishers would come to visit us on press tours, because we were not on the West Coast, we would always take them out to a meal, like lunch or dinner, depending on what time they were there. So we had gone out to lunch with one of these PR people. I think that's what it was for that day. And we were sitting around this big table and we had ordered our meal, and our waitress came out with a copy of, I think it was the latest issue that was on newsstands.
Oh, I do remember this.
I think it was one of the cooks had seen us sit down and was a big fan of the magazine, and had the issue there.
Yeah.
Apparently, he must have been reading it on his breaks or something, and sent it out with our waitress to ask if we would sign it for him. That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
That's just kind of cute. Like that's not
Well,
even.
I know. I mean, it's not. I'm saying I don't have a weird one, but I just that's the one that sticks out.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember going to Electronics Boutique with Andy Barron and him casually flipping through the latest issue of Expert Gamer, waiting for someone to ask him about it.
Yeah, Andy.
I think about that so much.
Andy definitely would try and prompt.
Yeah. So Andy, we've talked about Andy before. Sadly, he's passed away, but we've talked about him before on the show. And Andy was around before any of you guys too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the early 90s. He was working at Ziff Davis. He started as a kid too. I think didn't he shadow write a lot of Ed Semrad's reviews?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, and then he was on EGM2, and by the time I had gotten there, he was an editor on Expert Gamer, which is where I started. And I just remember going to Electronics Boutique with him one lunch hour at the mall nearby, and I think he took the latest issue. I think it was an issue that wasn't on newsstands yet. He took an issue of Expert Gamer with him.
He brought it from the office.
Yeah, and we walked into the store, and it was one of those stores where the counter was right in the middle, kind of the way they're set up now still, but counter was right in the middle. And I mean, they kind of knew who we were because we go to that store
all the time.
But he leaned casually against the counter and started just flipping through the issue, waiting for someone to say something to him.
Waiting for someone to notice he has an unreleased issue.
Yeah.
Oh, this whole thing?
Waiting for them to say, sir, you can't.
You have to pay for that.
You have to pay for that magazine. No, wait. This isn't from
I brought this from work. Where I work, where I wrote it.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah.
That's almost as bad as me posting a picture of myself talking about a meme that I wrote.
A meme that, almost. Not quite, but pretty close.
You're so desperate to get everyone associating that mind-boggling meme with you just to get away from the Bubsy 3D one.
Yeah. That's the
That's
real,
what
that's
this
the
is all
real
about.
shirt we need.
Real one. Yeah. That is
Yeah,
the real shirt
where's like
I need.
Somebody
I
needs
need
to
that.
take, somebody needs to make a cartoon of you from that picture you've posted climbing to the top of a yarn ball.
absolutely
Oh, there you go. Well, it did
that on
remind me.
the Yeti.
It did remind
Yeah.
me though that I have a copy of Bubsy 3D that I need to frame and put up.
Oh, you absolutely do.
Uh,
So because that's too funny.
Ugh.
All right, I think that's it. I think that's the end of the episode.
Oh,
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that at P1 Podcast on various social media networks. Definitely Blue Sky or Threads. Whichever one. But definitely Blue Sky. Or we also have an internet website, player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Stewart. You'll find Generation 16 episodes there. You'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about on this here episode and any episode of the podcast. And you'll also find a link to our Discord server where we can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
if you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. We're also on Spotify. You can like us on Facebook. You can watch video archives of our show on the youtubes.com/P1 podcast, or you can watch us live most weeks on the YouTubes, the Facebooks, the Twitch.televisions. Just follow our Blue Sky account to find out when we are doing our next live show. Typically, it is Sunday evenings at 5:30 specific time. So join us, won't you? And I'll tell you what, if you like what you've heard, and how could you, head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. CJ has to stay enrolled in every retailer's special top secret
God.
elite club in order to
No.
get all his hot new merchandise ahead of everybody else. And those are probably annually recurring fees. And CJ, let me tell you, nice guy, doesn't always pay attention to the world around him. So he is not going to remember to cancel those automatically renewing memberships.
Set a reminder for those.
He
Yeah.
is in for thousands of dollars over the course of a lifetime because he will never, ever turn those off.
It's true.
So-
what is the service merchandise membership club thing that I just paid?
Oh, see,
Weird.
that's the thing. And I don't think that company's been around for like 20 years.
I know.
There's literally one guy in an office collecting CJ's checks.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I loved going to service merchandise when I was a kid because they had a weird way
Yeah, they did.
of purchasing things. CJ knows what I'm talking about. There was this store called Service Merchandise. Was it a nationwide chain?
I am not sure.
I'm sure I've heard of this.
Yeah.
We've talked about it, and there's something similar up in Canada.
Yeah, I
It's
think you're
called
about to
something
describe consumers distributing up here.
Yeah.
Okay. And the way you would purchase items from Service Merchandise, and one of the things, perhaps the only thing that I have an actual distinct memory of buying from Service Merchandise. And when I say buying, I mean my parents bought for me because I was a child and I was getting a calculator for my math class. This was probably in junior high, and I needed a nice like graphing calculator. So they took me to Service Merchandise. We found one. You got like a slip or something, and you went and you paid for it.
Yeah, it's in-person catalog shopping is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. That's all.
And
it is,
you pay for it at the register, and then you went into like a little room off to the side, and you're standing there in this kind of almost warehousey looking room. It's not big, but there was a big conveyor belt going up to a second level, and you would stand at the base of this conveyor belt and you would wait a few minutes, and eventually you would see coming down from the second story your calculator box would be coming down this conveyor belt, and you'd watch with
It's
excitement.
like going to the Amazon warehouse today.
And it would hit the bottom of the conveyor belt, and then it would just come right over to you, and you'd grab it off the conveyor belt, and you're on your way.
Yep.
It wasn't quite as magical as the secret Toys R Us hidden room full of video games where you hand in your ticket and they go get your game out of the back. But it was definitely, you had that, you're watching machinery. It was very exciting.
Yeah, ours didn't have all that.
Oh, really?
But consumers distributing was still great because you go in and they always had some merchandise out front, like in display cases and stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, it was the same thing. You go up to one of the many stands that had the catalogs,
right,
and flip through it so you could put the little number of the item you wanted to buy on the slip.
Okay.
And you take it up and you'd pay for it, and then they would go into the back and then magically come out with the thing. I bought so many mask toys from consumers distributing, and I bought my very first NES game, which was Castlevania. The first one I bought was Castlevania 2.
Oh, wow.
And that's where I bought it, was consumers distributing.
Awesome.
Service Merchandise was the only store where I ever actually saw a Philips CDI for sale.
Nice.
Yeah, they had a display. They had a whole setup where you could try it out.
Cool.
And I did, and it was not good. Even back in the day, I was like, "Oh, this isn't good. I don't want this. I just want my graphing calculator." Anyway, what we will use your Patreon funds for, of course, is keeping us live streaming and all that stuff. And I'll tell you what, friendos, if you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
cheap,
you gain special access to a weekly bonus episode. We record it right after this, where we play games, crack-wise, having fun, doing all that stuff we can't do on the regular show. CJ?
Yeah.
I know this has been kind of a hectic week, what with all these new systems being put up for pre-order and all, but
yeah.
Do we have a game this week?
We do have a game, Phil.
Oh my gosh.
It is an EGM review game based upon the April 2000 issue of EGM. So 25 years ago.
Oh my.
Yes.
Is one of these going to be a crazy April Fool's joke?
I don't think so.
That was so prominent in EGM back in the day?
Nope.
Well, then forget I asked.
Yeah.
Well, I'm very excited about that. 25 years ago, EGM. Let's see what happens. And I'll tell you what, if you have a couple bucks left over, why don't you go to patreon.com/Greg Seward to help support Greg's outstanding, and it is outstanding, web series about all the hot new farming simulators. Or just Genesis games. Sega Genesis. It's Generation 16. It's Greg's show.
Thank you, Phil. And if you are a supporter
welcome.
of the $3 variety,
that's so cheap.
So cheap.
Yeah.
You get early access to all my videos 2 weeks. 2 weeks early.
Wow.
So please consider supporting the show.
Nice.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Is that it?
That's it.
CJ.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Wow. That was a little extended thank you there. I liked it.
Yeah.
Gregory.
Yo.
A thank you as well.
Thank you, Philip.
Always. And as per usual, thank you to you, our wonderful, wonderful listeners, every single darn one of you. As always, please take care of yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself. And By golly, we hope to see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.